United Nations Special Envoy announces failure to extend the truce. The Iran-backed Houthis announced the talks on UN truce have reached a dead end. Boat race in Hodeidah to mark the 26th September Revolution. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Rushan Fouad. The UN envoy announced that all his efforts to extend the truce have failed. The UN Special Envoy expressed his regrets that an argument has not been reached, as an extended and expanded truce would provide additional critical benefits to the population. He also appreciated the position of the Yemeni government on engaging positively with my proposal, and he mentioned that the UN will continue to work with both sides to find solutions. Chairman of the PLC, Rashad Al-Alimi, received the United Nations Special Envoy to Yemen, Hans Gumberg, in order to discuss extending the truce. In the meeting, the chairman of the Presidential Leadership Council affirmed the commitment of the Council to achieve sustainable peace. The president referred to the hostile indications of the Houthi militia's positions, which undermines peace efforts made by the international community. The U.S. ambassador to Yemen, Stephen Fagan, expressed his concern over the lack of progress in the UN truce talks. Ambassador Fagan called on the Yemeni parties to not squander the progress of the last 6 months and to prioritize Yemeni people by accepting the UN proposal of extending and expanding the ceasefire agreement. The British ambassador to Yemen, Richard Oppenheim, said that the truce is a stepping stone towards ceasefire and political talks in Yemen. According to Ambassador Oppenheim, all parties are responsible to make the truce a success, urging the Houthis to engage positively with the UN envoy's proposal to extend and expand the truce. He also mentioned that the truce is the only way that provides an opportunity for the parties to deliver benefits for Yemenis across the country. The Dutch ambassador to Yemen, Peter Derek, said that the truce in Yemen has brought tangible benefits to the Yemenis. Derek expressed his support to the UN proposal of the UN envoy that includes opening of Taiz roads and the payment of civil servant salaries. The Dutch diplomat also mentioned that an expanded truce agreement can be a stepping stone to political peace talks. The Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen announced that attempts to reach a 6-month agreement ceasefire with the Yemeni government had reached a dead end. This comes just hours before the truce is set to expire today on Sunday. This report gives more details.
Despite the constant attempts by the UN Special Envoy Hans Grunberg, temporary ceasefire is set to expire today. The Yemeni government showed willingness to expand the truce, but Yemen truce is reaching a dead end, as the Houthi rebels shared a statement a day before the UN truce expires that makes their state vague and sends an indirect message. They said in the official declaration that they blamed the international community and the UN for reaching a dead-end negotiations, saying that the truce was violated by the UN and they did not act on the peace promises. On the other hand, the Yemeni government are engaging positively with the truce expansion proposal. In addition, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke with the Saudi Arabia's foreign minister to discuss the expiration of the truce. Mr. Blinken welcomed Saudi Arabia's commitment to extend the truce and its effort to help secure an expansion while its life-saving benefits for millions of Yemenis. He added that the benefits of the expanded truce would include paying teachers, nurses, and other civil servants who have not been paid in years, expanding flights from Sana'a, opening roads in Taiz and elsewhere. Meanwhile, the militia stated that they gave the UN 2 chances when they agreed on the first and the second truce, without clarifying their state with the new truce expansion proposal, disregarding the dire need of Yemeni people for an extended peace. Over the past 6 months, the truce has delivered tangible benefits and much-needed relief to the Yemeni people. including a significant reduction in violence and civilian casualties countrywide, an increase in fuel deliveries through Hodeidah port, and above all, the relative calm in their lives. Will Yemenis get to live a longer, peaceful period? This is an urgent question.
The Houthi militia have warned to resume military operations as soon as the truce ends. In a statement, the Houthi militia said if no agreements are reached that fulfill the rightful demands of the people, they will resume military operations. The UN-brokered truce between the Yemeni government and the Houthi rebels has brought respite to Yemenis. The key issue of road openings remains outstanding, and the country's humanitarian catastrophe is set to worsen. This report has more details.
The United Nations announced a 2-month truce between the parties involved in Yemen's conflict. The ceasefire was extended twice. The third renewal proved to be the most difficult. The truce was extended until October 2, 2022, just 2 days before it expired. This is the country's longest period of ceasefire since 2015. International observers were more hopeful than ever that the war would be over soon. The agreement calls for a total ceasefire, consultations to open the roads in Taiz, the opening of the port of Hodeidah, and the operation of flights from Sana'a International Airport to specific destinations. The two parties met in Jordan's capital, Amman, but talks were halted after the Houthi attack on Taiz in August, and the government delegation suspended consultations. However, the truce provided the Houthis with an opportunity to strengthen their position and a reprieve from international pressure in relation to the Iranian negotiations over the United States' return to the nuclear deal. In addition, UN and the international community failed to make the truce permanent or extended for more than 2 months each time. The Yemeni government and the coalition appear to be moving closer to agreeing to Houthi demands such as the opening of Hodeidah port and the payment of civil servants. On the other hand, the Houthis refused to meet the UN envoy for Yemen after criticizing the Houthis' attack on Taiz. They also rejected initiatives proposed by the UN envoy for Yemen regarding the opening of roads in Taiz, despite the resentment and reluctance of the government to accept them. The continuance of the truce appears to be a requirement for both local and international parties. Although the Houthis preserve no adequate motivations for its extension, the return to war jeopardizes their discussions with Saudi Arabia, as well as the Saudi-Iranian negotiations. As a result, accepting a truce on the Houthis' demands is tough. Any military action to enforce what they see as the victor's conditions will render the entire truce a shambles, at a time when the conflict in Yemen is being condemned internationally and regionally for a variety of reasons. If the truce collapses and hostilities resume, it will be more difficult to return to the ceasefire and negotiate a peaceful conclusion. This situation would not be restricted to Yemen only, but will also have a regional and worldwide consequences.
The United Nations said that millions of displaced Yemenis need lasting peace in the country and to return to their homes in peace. This came in a statement by the UNHCR on the occasion of the International Day of No to Violence. They added on this day more than 4.3 million displaced Yemenis across the country need lasting peace now more than ever. In Hodeidah, a large boat competition was organized as to mark the 26th September and 4th Glorious Revolution. This report gives more details.
The celebrations of the Hodeidah Carnival Festival continue for the second day in a row on the occasion of the National Revolution Feasts. For the 60th anniversary of the 26th of September and the 59th anniversary of the 14th of October Revolution. Today's activities included a marine marathon in Al Khawkha district for a 1-mile boat race, in which more than 30 fishermen from Al Hodeidah and other regions participated, as Al Khawkha is the largest gathering area for fishermen compared to other Red Sea regions.
They restored happiness again in us. People's spirit was down, but they brought it up again. Fishermen are now happy and comfortable too, since they enjoy complete freedom in the sea. As you can see, people are now happy and they race as if today is an important occasion, and it is the 26th September feast indeed.
It is a celebration by which the Tihamis express their life struggle and their spirit that adored the land and the sea.
Celebration is an important aspect in Yemeni's life. At least it works as escapism for people to forget about their suffering. The authorities have to look after the fishermen as they are marginalized and exposed to dangers.
A marathon for a 3-kilometer running race was also held, and the winners in the first places were honored with cups, medals, and sums of money. The celebration came to alleviate the suffering of the Yemeni people amid the war and conflicts that tore the country apart. However, the Tihamis, along with other Yemenis, are still resisting.
Coming next. Sewing project in Marib seeks to empower displaced women economically. Welcome back. The Committee of Livelihoods Development Project affirmed the government's keenness to enhance Yemen's capabilities in food commodities, especially wheat. The Minister of Planning and International Cooperation said the project aims to enhance the resilience of local communities and build their capacities by ensuring investments in community infrastructure, technical training for farmers, and providing livelihood opportunities. The Minister of Agriculture stressed the importance of the project in supporting the agricultural sector and food security in light of the high food prices caused by the Russian-Ukrainian crisis. 8 years of conflict, disease outbreaks, and extreme weather conditions have crippled Yemen's economy. More than 40% of Yemeni families have lost their primary source of income over the past 4 years. Among those people are the displaced. Therefore, small projects have been launched to empower displaced women as to alleviate some of their suffering. This report gives more details.
With the sounds of sewing machines, Marwa attends with her colleagues a workshop to learn the sewing profession in the museum camp for the displaced in Ma'rib Governorate, along with other displaced women in the camp.
We are now working on this prayer attire, dresses for women and girls. This directly helps us to sew clothes for our own kids because sometimes we cannot afford to buy them.
A project aimed at empowering women inside the museum camp, at a time when thousands of women are living in displacement camps in Ma'rib with difficult living conditions. It remains a step with the hope of including the rest of displacement camps in the governorate to alleviate the suffering of women who struggle with the living conditions.
We are benefiting from this workshop as we gain skills, and it gave us hope to create our ideas to improve our future.
The war in Yemen has deepened the suffering of Yemeni women and made them in need for projects and workshops to gain important skills to enable them to secure some of her needs and her children's, at a time when thousands of women lost their source of income.
We struggle in our society with the low number of educational workshops for women in all fields, which allows her to make a source of income. This is why we demand more workshops like this.
The Yemeni women need to be supported in times of war, and to empower themselves financially remains an unmet need, and made women face a new life they were not familiar with before. And in the light of the Houthi militia, it became an issue in every home.
The Minister of Finance issued a decree to reduce the customs tariff by 80% for all old vehicles of the 2009 model and lower. The head of the Customs Authority called on all citizens to take advantage of this opportunity and expedite the customs and numbering of their cars during the specified period. He also stressed that after the end of the period, no vehicle will be allowed to move, in cities and governorates without completing the customs and numbering procedures. A tough cooking gas crisis has hit Sana'a and other areas under the Houthi control. According to local sources, the key reason behind this crisis is the Houthi black market, which is supported by senior rebel leaders. This report gives more details.
A severe lack of cooking gas hit several regions of Yemen, exacerbating the suffering of millions of people in the war-torn country. Many fuel stations in several major cities have run out of cooking gas in recent days, forcing many bakeries to close their doors. According to the UN, Yemen's ongoing conflict has exacerbated humanitarian, economic, and environmental conditions. It has also caused the world's worst humanitarian crisis. This has put a strain on the environment's natural resources and increased the use of vegetation cover on a large scale. The suffocating crisis in oil derivatives and domestic gas has exacerbated the suffering of people. Yemen has been at war since late 2014, when the Houthi militia took control of several northern provinces. The most recent nationwide humanitarian assessments show that about 23.4 million Yemenis, or 3/4 of the total population, require some form of assistance, according to Martin Griffiths, UN Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator. The war has also exacerbated Yemen's economic problems, pushing more families into poverty, which is one of the major drivers of humanitarian needs, according to Griffiths. In Taz, a large black market has emerged as a prominent feature of gas distribution. The amount of gas reaching the governorate meets less than half of local demand. The number of cooking gas cylinders that enter Taz on a daily basis is estimated to be between 8,000 and 10,000. However, supply interruptions are common. When they do arrive, the cylinders are not distributed properly, as a large portion is hidden and sold to vehicle owners and large consumers such as restaurants, factories, and hospitals. In addition, Taz's local government is also to blame for the gas crisis. They have not worked in recent years to increase Taz's share of cooking gas from the Yemen Gas Company, nor have they attempted to establish fair gas distribution methods. Although the Taz cooking gas crisis affects every household, the impact varies depending on residents' socioeconomic situation. Economically advantaged households can obtain cooking gas from commercial stations and the black market, whereas poorer households must seek out distributors and wait in long lines.
The King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center has provided support for the national campaign for vaccination against coronavirus. The campaign was carried out in 12 governorates between September 24 and 28 as part of support project that aims to increase the rate of vaccination against the virus in war-torn Yemen. Here is a reminder of the main headlines. United Nations Special Envoy announces failure to extend the truce. The Iranian-backed Houthis announced that talks on UN truce have reached a dead end. Both race and Hudaydah to mark the 25th September Revolution. This is the end of the news. It was Rushan Fuad. Thank you for watching.